Hello everyone, this is Deepthi. In the surface chemistry chapter, there are three major concepts to be discussed, that is adsorption, catalysis and colloids. In the previous videos of surface chemistry, I have discussed about adsorption and catalysis in detail. In today's video, I am going to discuss about the colloids. It is one of the interesting topic because these colloid particles are seen around us, but we are unaware of that colloid particles. So, in today's video, let us know about what is colloid and classification of colloid with interesting examples. So, watch my video till the end without skipping. At the end of this video, I am going to ask some questions related to CET and NEET examination. Okay then, let's start today's session. Before that, for more interesting videos on chemistry, please subscribe my channel. To get the regular notification, click on the bell button. Okay then, let's start. Welcome to Light Up. Colloids. This is the new term which is used in surface chemistry. Before knowing the definition of this colloid, you should know some terms related to this concept. That is dispersed phase and dispersed medium. The first one is dispersed phase. Dispersed phase. So dispersed phase means the particle which are dispersed in a dispersed medium. In a dispersed medium is called dispersed phase. Here dispersed means distribute. The particle is distributed or spread over. This is the first term. The second term is dispersed medium. Dispersed medium. Okay. Dispersed medium means it is a continuous medium. It is a continuous medium in which the particles are dispersed. Is called dispersed medium. I'll give you a definition to know the exact meaning of dispersed phase and dispersed medium. Okay, I'm taking a beaker with water. Okay, the beaker with water. Here the water is dispersed medium. Water is dispersed medium. Now I'm adding a sugar. Which is dispersed phase. Here the sugar is added in the dispersed medium. Therefore, the definition of dispersed phase is the particle which are dispersed in a dispersed medium. The particle, that is sugar particle, is dispersed in dispersed medium is called dispersed phase. And this dispersed phase is also called as a discontinuous phase. Discontinuous. Why we call this as discontinuous means when the sugar is added to the water, the sugar gets dissolved. The sugar, first it is in the solid state. When it is added to water, it completely dissolves and its state changes. Therefore, we call it as a discontinuous phase. It is combined with water. So next is dispersed medium. So dispersed medium is a continuous medium in which the particles are dispersed. That means here the dispersed medium is a continuous medium in which the particle what we have taken here, the sugar particle is dispersed. Why we call this as continuous medium means before the addition of sugar, the water what we have taken is in the liquid state, and by addition of the sugar, again the medium remains same. Before adding the sugar, before adding the dispersed phase and after add in the dispersed phase, the medium remains same. There is no change in medium. Therefore, we call it as a continuous medium. Okay. These are the two terms you should know before knowing the definition of colloid. Now, let us move on to the main definition of colloid. To get a clear picture of this colloid particle, you should know other two definitions. That is true solution and suspension. True solution and suspension. Let us do activity for this true solution, colloids and suspension to know the comparison of this true solution, colloids and suspension. Let us do an activity. Here I have taken 3 beakers. In the first beaker I have taken the sugar solution, in the second beaker soap solution, and in the third beaker I have taken muddy water. These are the examples for true solution. The first one is the example for true solution, and second one is the example for colloids, and the third one for the suspension. Here what we observe is that in the first beaker the solution is completely transparent. The sugar is completely dissolved in the water. So it is completely transparent. So we can call this as a homogeneous mixture. There is no separate layer. So the sugar is completely dissolved. So it is called as homogeneous mixture. It is only a single layer. And the second one and third one, what we observe is that the solution is not transparent. The solution which is not transparent. So therefore, what we can call this as heterogeneous mixture. So observe this, the first and second beaker. The first beaker is completely transparent and we cannot see any particles or molecules in the first beaker. When I take up the last beaker, that is example for suspension, you can observe the particles which are settled down and you can see the particles here. In the suspension, you can observe the particle, right? The particles are very big in suspension. When I take up in the true solution, the particles are very small in size. So we cannot observe the particles here. And when I come to the colloidal solution, again here we cannot see the particles. Through our naked eyes, we cannot see any particles. But in suspension, we can observe the particles which is settled down. We can see through naked eyes here. In colloidal solution, we cannot see any particles, but we can see the particles by using ultra microscope. This is the difference between the true solution, colloid and a suspension. By this observation, what we can say is that in the first beaker, the true solution, the particle size is very small. That is, the particle size is less than 1 nanometer. When I take up the suspension, we can see the particles. Those are bigger in size. Therefore, the particle size in suspension is greater than 1000 nanometer. So, the next, that is the second beaker, which indicates the colloidal particles. Here, the particles we cannot see through naked eyes. But the particle size which lies between the true solution and suspension here. That is from 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. Those are called a colloidal solution. In activity section, we have observed that true solution, colloids and suspension. Now, let us define these terms based on observation. The first definition, that is true solution, is it is a homogeneous mixture. It is a homogeneous. It is a homogeneous mixture in which the particle size is less than 1 nanometer. Which is less than 1 nanometer. It is homogeneous mixture. Important one. Let us move on to the next definition, that is suspension. What you observed in activity. It is a heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous. It is a heterogeneous mixture in which the particle size, particle size is greater than 1000 nanometer is called what? Suspension. I have took the muddy water for suspension. So, by knowing these two definitions, now we can define the colloid and we get the clear picture of this colloid definition. It is a heterogeneous mixture. It is a heterogeneous mixture in which the particle size lies between 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. Important. 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer, which is a heterogeneous mixture. Here, the particle size lies between the true solution and the suspension. In suspension, the particle size are very big, and in the true solution, the particle size is very small. Here, the colloid particle lies between the true solution and suspension, that is from 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer, is called colloid particles. Okay, let us know some more properties of this true solution, suspension and colloidal solution. Okay, see here the difference between true solution, suspension and colloidal solution. Some more properties let us know about the true solution, suspension and colloidal solution. The particle size. The particle size in true solution is less than 1 nanometer, right? It is less than 1 nanometer. So, suspension is greater than 1000 nanometer. And coming to the colloidal solution, that is, the particle size lies between 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. The next, second one, nature of the mixture. So, nature of mixture, what you have observed in activity section. So, true solution is a homogeneous mixture. Homogeneous. The particles are uniformly distributed. And in suspension, it is a heterogeneous mixture. Here the particles are settled down. Heterogeneous mixture. And the colloidal solution is also heterogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture. This is what you observed in activity section. Next, let us move on to the third point, that is action of light. Action of light, how the light transfer in this solution. Okay, when I transfer the light to the true solution, the light completely transmit. They transmit the light. They transmit the light particles. Because the particle size is very small, therefore the light easily transmitted. Okay, in suspension, due to the bigger particle that is greater than 1000 nanometer, the light gets scattered. The light gets scattered. So, therefore, we say that scattering of light takes place. The scattering of light is also called as a Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect. Scattering of light is also called as Tyndall effect. So, suspension shows scattering of light. Not always it shows scattering of light. So, we say may or may not. So, may or may not it shows the scattering of light. Only at some condition it shows the scattering. If the particle size is very big, then it does not show the scattering of light. Okay. Next, let us move on to the colloidal solution. The colloidal solution scatters the light. The scattering of light takes place in the colloidal solution because due to the size of the particle. Here, the size of the particle lies between 1 to 1000 nanometer. Therefore, we can find the scattering of light. The scattering of light is also called as a Tyndall effect. Tyndall effect. That means, now if I take a solution, colloidal solution, if I take a colloidal solution where the particles are present, when the light incident on the particle, the light gets scattered. This is called a Tyndall effect. Scattering of light when the light incident on the colloidal particle. This takes place only if the particle size lies between 1 to 1000 nanometer. Okay, this is the third difference. The true solution does not show the scattering of light. The true solution does not show the scattering of light, but the colloidal solution shows scattering of light. And the suspension may or may not show scattering of light. Okay. So next, let us move on to the fourth point, that is filtration. In filtration, the true solution passes through the common filter paper. It passes through the filter paper. The particles passes through the filter paper or through the semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. But the suspension, which is bigger in size, this one is the smaller. Okay. Due to bigger in size, the particles does not passes through the filter paper. It does not passes through filter paper or semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. Next, the colloidal solution. The particle size lies between 1 to 1000 nanometer. Therefore, it does not passes through filter paper. But it passes through the semi-permeable membrane. But it slowly passes through semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. So it does not passes through filter paper, but it passes through semi-permeable membrane. Suspension, due to bigger size, it does not passes through filter paper or semi-permeable membrane. Here the true solution passes both in filter paper and semi-permeable membrane. These are the four differences. Next, the last difference is visibility. By looking at the activity, what you observed in the true solution means the particles are invisible, right? The particles are invisible in true solution. And coming to the suspension, the particles are very big in size. In muddy water, you can see the particles. Therefore, the particles are visible by naked eyes. Visible by naked eyes. So, visible by naked eyes. And what about the colloidal solution? Here the particles are invisible. Here the particle size are invisible, but the particle size are invisible, but they are visible through ultra microscope. Visible through ultra microscope. This is the last point. Visibility. Visible through ultra microscope, it is invisible. These are the 5 differences between true solution, suspension and colloidal solution. I hope you all understood this concept, true solution, suspension and colloids. Okay. Okay, next let us move on to the classification of colloids. Next is the classification of colloids. Classification of colloids. Colloids are classified into 3 groups, that is based on physical state of dispersed phase and dispersed medium. The first one. The second one is nature of interaction. Nature of interaction between dispersed phase and dispersed medium. And the third one is types of particle. The types of particle in dispersed phase. These are the 3 classification. Now, let us take up the first one, that is based on physical state of dispersed phase and dispersed medium. The first one, the dispersed phase and dispersed medium may be solid or liquid, or it may be gas. Okay. From this, we get 8 colloidal system. By this, we get 8 colloidal system. Let us see one by one types of colloidal system. This is the first classification. Okay. So, these are the 8 colloidal system. So, look at this. The dispersed phase, I am taken the solid first. Dispersed medium, solid, liquid and gas. In the same way, liquid, liquid, liquid and solid, liquid, gas. And last one is gas and solid and liquid. There are 8 colloidal system. So, let us see. In the first one, we have taken up the solid dispersed phase and solid dispersion medium. We call this as a solid sol. Name of the colloidal system is solid sol. Sol is nothing but the colloidal solution. Okay. Solid in solid. We can also read it as solid and solid, or solid dispersed phase and solid dispersed medium. We call it as a solid sol. In the same way, the solid dispersed phase in the liquid dispersed medium, we call it as a sol. And the same way, the third one, the solid dispersed phase in the gas dispersed medium, we call it as a aerosol. This is the first category where I am taking the solid as a dispersed phase. And the second category, that is a liquid. And the third category, I have taken the gaseous state. Let us see one by one with an example. Okay. So, first, I'll give the example for this solid in liquid and solid in gas. Because it is easy to understand the solid in liquid and solid in gas, then you will get a clear picture for other example. The first one, that is solid dispersed phase in liquid dispersion medium. For this, I can give the common example, that is sugar and water. So, sugar is a dispersed phase which is in the solid state, and the water which is in the liquid state, that is medium. So, sugar in water. Here, the sugar which is in the small amount and the water which is in the larger amount. Okay, the dispersed phase here in the smaller amount and the dispersion medium which is in the larger amount. Therefore, we call it as a sol. The example is sugar solution, or we can also give the paint. So, the second one, next one is the solid in gas. So, solid particles which is present in gas. Okay, the solid which is in the smaller amount and the gas in the larger amount. So, where you can find this kind of things? Solid which is in the smaller amount and the gas is which is in the larger amount. If you observe the smoke from the chimney of the factory, you can observe that smoke. The smoke, which is the dark smoke which is rising upward, which is in the gaseous form. But the gas contains the small particles, the solid particles, which will be the example for this solid in gas, smoke and dust particles. Again, the dust particles look like gas particles. From far away, you can see it has a gas. It looks like gas, but the dust includes a small quantity of solid particles. So, solid in gas, we call it as aerosol. Examples, smoke, dust, etc. Here, the solids are in small amount and the gaseous are in the large amount. By knowing these two definition and example, next let us move on to the first one, that is solid in solid. Again, here the solid which is in the small amount and the dispersed medium solid which is in the large amount. Where you can find this kind of mixture is, that is in alloys. What are these alloys? It's a mixture of two metals, right? It is a mixture of two metals. The two metals are in solid state. When we mix those two metals, we get a alloy. This is called solid salt. And one more example, that is the colored glass. Colored glass. Here the colored particle which is in the solid state and the glass which is also in the solid state. And also gemstone is an example. Gemstone. So gemstone, you all know that colored gemstone. It is also example for the solid salt. The colored particles are in solid state and again the stone which is in the solid state. Therefore, it is an example for solid salt. So next, let us move on to the second section, that is the dispersed phase which is in the liquid state. Liquid in solid. This is in the small amount and these are in the larger amount. So liquid in solid is called as gel. We call it as a gel, liquid and solid. Look at this. It is a gel. It looks like a solid, right? Jelly. It is in the solid. It looks like solid. It contains small amount of a liquid. It contains a small amount of liquid. This is an example for liquid and solid. We call it as a gel. And where we find these kind of things is in the toothpaste, right? In the toothpaste, we observe these things. Toothpaste, right? And you can also find it in butter, cheese. There, here the butter and cheese, it look like solid. It contains small amount of a liquid. This is called gel. This one is the important one. Okay. So next one is the liquid in liquid. Again, the liquid is in the small amount and one more, the dispersed medium, the liquid which is in the larger amount. Liquid in liquid, we call it as emulsion. Emulsion is also important concept for examination. Okay. So liquid in liquid, where you'll find? You'll find a milk. So you'll find in milk, liquid and liquid. In the same way, the next one is a liquid in gas. So liquid which is in the small amount and the gaseous in the large amount. These kind of things will be observed in where you'll observe this kind of things, that is gas in the larger amount and the liquid which is in the smaller amount. We call it as aerosol. These can be observed in mist and fog, right? Mist, fog, cloud, where you can observe the larger amount of gas. So mist, you will find the larger amount of gas and it contains smaller water droplets which is in the liquid state. This is then example for aerosol. Okay. So next one, let us move on to this third section, that is a gas. So gas, let us take up gas. So gas and combines with solid, the gas in solid, we call it as a solid foam. gas in solid, we call it as a solid form. Here, the gas which is in the smaller amount and the solid which is in the larger amount. This will be seen in the sponges, right? The sponges look like a solid form. Here, when you cut the sponge, you can observe the gaps between the sponge, small holes, gaps between the sponge. This gas between the sponge indicates the presence of gas, right? Presence of gas. There is a bubbles in the sponge where the gases are present in the smaller amount. And the solid, it looks like solid, we take it as a larger amount. This is called solid form. We observe in sponges or pumic stones. Pumic stone. This is the seventh point, seventh colloidal system. So next, last one is gas in liquid. Here again, the gas which is in the smaller amount and the liquid which is in the larger amount. This is called foam, where you find these kind of things. Gas in liquid. It is fine. You find these kind of things in froth, in soap, lather, in the shaving cream. You can observe these kind of things, right? So look at this here. Froth. Can you observe? Here, it is in the liquid form and you can observe the bubbles there. Presence of gas. The bubbles indicates the presence of gas which is in the smaller amount, and the froth contains maximum liquid condition. When you touch this, my hand gets wetted. So if I touch and press, look at this, a liquid form. So froth is made up of a liquid, but the bubbles indicates the presence of a gas particle which is in the smaller amount. This is the example for the 8th colloidal system. So this is the last one. And one more thing. So gas and gas. So gas solid, the gas dispersed phase and gas dispersed medium is not possible. Why? Because when gas combines with gas, it forms a homogeneous mixture. But this colloidal system are heterogeneous. Therefore, this gas in gas does not form a colloidal system. Therefore, we have only 8 colloidal system. I hope you all understood the examples with this 8 colloidal system. Here, the emulsion gels are important one. How to define this emulsion and how to define this gel. So, liquid dispersed phase in solid dispersed medium is called gel. In the same way, emulsion means liquid dispersed phase in liquid dispersion medium is called as a emulsion. In the same way, next is sol. How we can define this sol? Solid dispersed phase and liquid dispersion medium is called as a sol. Okay, let me give the definition for this. The first one is gel. Okay, a colloidal system. A colloidal solution in which dispersed phase is liquid. Dispersed phase is liquid and dispersed medium is solid. This is called a gel. We take a gels, okay. And one more thing, the second one is emulsion. Emulsion. Colloidal solution. A colloidal solution in which dispersed phase is liquid and dispersed medium is also a liquid is called emulsion. And next one is the foam. What is foam? A colloidal solution. A colloidal solution in which dispersed phase is gas and the dispersed medium is liquid. This is called a foam. Okay, liquid and gas. Gas in liquid, here liquid in liquid, and here liquid in solid. In shortcut, remember this. Okay, so gels means liquid in solid. So emulsion, L, liquid in liquid, and the foam, so gas in liquid. This one is very important. Emulsion and gels. Okay, then let us move on to the second classification. The second classification is based on nature of interaction. Nature of interaction between dispersed phase and dispersed medium. Dispersed phase and dispersed medium. Under that, we are going to discuss about the 2 points, that is lyophilic, and the second one is lyophobic. Okay, these are the two important terms which we are going to discuss about this second classification. So, what is the meaning of this lyophilic? Lyo means a solvent. Lyo means solvent, and philic means loving. Okay, therefore we call this lyophilic as a solvent loving or solvent attracting. So here the particles love their solvents. So the particles easily combines with the solvent. So we call it as a stable solution. So we call it as a stable. So lyophilic are stable in nature. Why? Because the particles easily combines with solvent. Here the lyo means solvent, philic means loving, solvent attracting. And in this, the dispersed phase is easily combined with the dispersed medium. Okay, is easily combined with dispersed medium to form a solution. Right. Dispersed phase and dispersed medium combine to form a solution. It may be a sugar and water to form a sugar solution. Now, this solution again can be reversed to separate this dispersion medium and dispersed phase by evaporation method. By evaporation, we can get back the dispersed phase and the dispersed medium, or we can separate dispersed phase and dispersed medium. Right. After separating this dispersed phase and dispersed medium, again we can combine this dispersed phase and dispersed medium to get a solution. So therefore, this reaction is called a reversible reaction or reversible sol. Okay, here the dispersed phase and dispersed medium combine to form solution. By evaporation method, we can separate both dispersed phase and dispersed medium. Again, by combining dispersed phase and dispersed medium, again we can get a solution. So there will be forward and backward reaction takes place. Therefore, we call this as a reversible sol. Sol means a colloidal solution, not solution. Colloidal solution, sol means. In the same way, let us move on to the next point, that is lyophobic. So lyo means solvent. Lyo means a solvent, and phobia means hating. So hating, solvent hating or can also say solvent repelling, can also say the solvent repelling, a solvent hating. Here the particles cannot easily combine with a water. Particles are not easily combined with solvent. It cannot be combined with solvent. Therefore, we call this sol as unstable. Unstable colloidal solution. Unstable in nature. Due to this instability, here the particles are not easily combined with solvent. Therefore, we call it as unstable. But by forcefully or by using some specific method, we can combine dispersed phase and dispersion medium. By using specific method, by forcefully we are combining this dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Okay. Due to this instability, what happens means the solution, due to instability, just by shaking or by heating or by adding electrolyte, what happens means the solution get precipitated. That means it gets coagulated, it gets precipitated. By using specific method, what we are doing, we are combining this dispersed phase and dispersion medium to form a solution. Due to its instability nature, just by shaking or just by heating or by adding electrolyte means it's a charged particle. By adding this, the solution get precipitated. Okay, once it get precipitated, it cannot be once this get precipitated, we cannot separate this dispersed phase and dispersion medium. Therefore, we call this as irreversible process. Irreversible sol or irreversible process. Okay, once the solution get precipitated, then we cannot separate this dispersed phase and dispersed medium. Therefore, we call this as irreversible sol. This is about a lyophilic and lyophobic. Let us see some difference of this lyophilic and lyophobic. I'll write the points here, what we have discussed here. So, first difference between the lyophilic and lyophobic, which is important for your examination. The first difference is lyophilic means it is solvent loving. It is the solvent loving, and lyophobic means solvent hating. Is solvent hating. And the second point and the second difference is the lyophilic solvents or lyophilic colloids are stable in nature. It is stable in nature, and lyophobic are unstable in nature. So next, third point, it can be easily separated. It can be easily separated by evaporation method. Here, that is dispersed phase and dispersed medium can be separated by evaporation method. But in lyophobic, what happens means the particles, the dispersed phase and dispersion medium cannot be separated. It cannot be separated. That is, dispersed phase and dispersed medium cannot be separated. And the fourth point is the molecules cannot be seen in the molecules cannot be seen under ultra microscope. But here the molecules can be seen under ultra microscope. These are the difference between the lyophilic and lyophobic. Okay, I think you have understood this concept, lyophilic and lyophobic, and why they are stable and why they are unstable. Okay, then let us move on to the third classification. So third classification is types of particles in dispersed phase. Okay, types of particles in dispersed phase. Under that, you are going to learn about 3 points, that is multimolecular, macromolecular, and the third one, that is last one, is associated molecules. Okay, let us see one by one. The first one is multimolecular. So the word itself saying the multimolecular collides. Multimolecular collides. The name itself saying the meaning of this collide. Multi means large number. Multi-molecules form a collide. So that means a large number of molecules combined to form one colloidal particle. Okay, large number of molecules combined to form one colloidal particle. That means here the particles are very small. The colloidal particles means the size of the colloidal particle ranges from 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. Right? The particle size should be 1 nanometer to 1000 nanometer. Below this 1 nanometer, we can't call it as a colloidal particle. We call it as a true solution. Above this, we call it as a suspension, about 1000 nanometer. Okay, in the multimolecular, the particle size are very small. The very small particles combine to form one colloidal particle, that is, the size ranges between this 1 to 1000 nanometer. See, look at this, like this. Multimolecular, large number of molecules combined here to form a colloidal particle where the size lies between 1 to 1000 nanometer. This is called multimolecular collides. For this, an example is the gold sol. And the sol of sulfur sol. These are the two examples for multimolecular collide. Here, the smaller gold particles combined to form one colloidal particle. Same way, and the sulfur also, the large number of colloid particles, sulfur particles combined to form one colloidal particle. Next, let us move on to the second one, that is a macromolecular collides. Second one, macromolecular. So macromolecule or macromolecules, molecular collide. So macro means large. So large molecule of a colloid form one colloidal particle. Here, one macro molecule is equal to one colloidal particle. Okay. The particle which is present in the solution, a macromolecule, which will be equal to the size of colloidal solution, that is 1 to 1000 nanometer. This is called macromolecular collide. So next, the last one is associated collide. Associated collide or associated molecules It can also be called as micelle. Okay, this is the third point, associated colloid. In this, if the concentration of some substance at low concentration, some substance at low concentration acts as electrolyte. Electrolytes means it is a charged particle. But at high concentration, the molecules get aggregated. That means the molecules associate. At high concentration, the molecules gets aggregated. That means the molecules are combined or associated. The molecules are combined at high concentration. Note this. At low concentration, it acts as electrolyte, but at high concentration, the molecules get combined to form micelle. Form micelle, which is a colloidal particle. That means the size ranges between 1 to 1000 nanometer. Here, for the formation of micelle, there is some conditions. The formation of micelle, there are some conditions, that is, the micelle is formed, which is important. The micelle is formed at particular temperature, at above particular temperature called Kraft temperature. And also at above a particular concentration called critical micelle concentration. Critical micelle or micelle concentration. In short form, we call it as CMC. It is ranges between 10 to the power of minus 2 to 10 to the power of minus 3 mole per liter. For the formation of a micelle, there is two conditions. At above particular temperature called Kraft temperature, important, and also at above particular concentration, we call it as the critical micelle concentration. At short form, we call it as CMC. That is 10 to the power of minus 4 to 10 to the power of minus 3 mole per liter. What is this Kraft temperature? So Kraft temperature means it is a minimum temperature. Note down this. It is a minimum temperature at which surfactant form micelle. So note down this. It's a minimum temperature. It is a minimum temperature at which the surfactant, the soap solution form a micelle. Micelle means the molecules are combined. Aggregated. Okay, I'll explain this micelle in detail in the next video. Okay, so next one is the critical micelle concentration. What it means? So critical micelle concentration means the soap solution should have the concentration between 10 to the power of minus 4 to 10 to the power of minus 3 mole per liter. This is called the critical micelle concentration. Above this or above this concentration, there will be micelle formation. Okay, these are the 3 points which will be discussed, which is discussed in types of particle and dispersed phase. Multimolecular, macromolecular and associated colloid. Okay, then let us move on to the today's question related to today's concept. The question is, lyophilic sol are more stable than lyophobic sol. Okay. And the second one is, which of the following represent a multimolecular colloids? First one is starch, second one is sol of gold, third one is protein, and the fourth one is soap. The third one is, milk is an emulsion of, so fat dispersed in milk, fat dispersed in water, water dispersed in fat, water dispersed in oil. Next, the fourth one is, an aerosol is a fine dispersion of oil in water, solid or liquid in air, air bubbles in water, one gas in another gas. The fifth one is, which of the following is not a colloid? Ink, glycerol, blood or paint? Answer this question in the comment box. Okay, if you have any doubt, please comment below. And if you like my video, please like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.